Hello everyone and welcome to episode 4 of the Local to Global Save here on TEW9 with Castle Pro Wrestling based in Edinburgh, Scotland. We've had some pretty solid episodes back to back so far, and hopefully we're going to wrap up 1997 on a high note today. We are in a really good position, I think, to take on the new year. We've got, how much popularity have we got again? We've got 7 popularity, so I'm hoping that by the end of today we'll be at 10. And that is the ultimate focus, and that we can hopefully start to claw away at this. So, we're probably going to be about similar again at the end of October, but hopefully by 1998, this little red number here will be getting smaller and smaller, and to the point where it's negligible how much money we're losing. Nothing has really happened in between episodes, to be honest. I've just sort of skimmed through and got on with it. DDP joined the WWF, if that's interesting to anybody. I mean, okay, he's pretty big actually, he's pretty popular. That seems like a big loss for WCW. Like a really big loss. Yeah, we're going to just sort of get on with it. I've got the 3 shows booked that I want to get on with, and nothing has really come up. Otherwise, I have just a heads up, this is being recorded on the Friday the 8th, so episode 2 has only just come out. I've recorded episode 3, and I've got some time, so I'm just getting ahead of myself. So apologies if anybody asks to see anything, or did ask to see anything for episode 2 or episode 3. I've just got a bit ahead of schedule. I have looked at the comments of episode 2 and replied to those, mostly UK Undertaker based. Of course, it's all about the UK Undertaker. And don't worry, he is a big factor of this episode. He is one of our key players here, as the UK Undertaker possibly goes through a little bit of a transformation. But I'll be back in just a moment, and I'll get this episode booked, and I'll see you then. And I believe once again we're in front of 68 fans in a generic venue. We're just saying Edinburgh, which is a bit annoying. Hopefully next month we'll crack over that 70 threshold. That would be appreciated. But Doug Williams, our new Scottish national champion, opens the show and he celebrates his newly won title. He's then interrupted by Roughneck, who says if it wasn't for that bonehead conscience, he would still be champion, and he's invoking that rematch clause tonight. It gets a 27 overall. Our main event is set. It will be Doug Williams versus Roughneck. Pretty obviously, I think, to be honest, after the way last month ended. It's a decent segment. Doug Williams on the mic is fine, as is Roughneck, so I'm not going to complain. We then have a match that I was very curious just to see how it would look. And 29 is not bad. Jody Fleisch was off his game, which is a bit annoying. He only got a 23. Hoover for 39. In a singles match where Juventud Guerrero does defeat Jody Fleisch in 8 and a bit minutes with the Hoover driver, designed to revolve around a lot of high spots. It's okay. I mean, it's just a win to keep Hoover's momentum on the go, really, more than anything else. And just to keep giving Jody Fleisch that little bit of experience as well, because he's very young. So any experience is good experience as far as I'm concerned. We then have the team of the UK Undertaker and the Dominator defeating Pierre Fontaine and Michael Kovac, when the UK Undertaker wins with the Tombstone Piledriver. The Dominator carrying the match. It gets a 26 overall. And one of the comments on episode 2's video said that I should sign the Dominator and look to do something where I have them team up together. And let me just say, I didn't want to spoil it too much in my reply, but I was one step ahead of you there, mate. I've already got that done. So that's one of the things. Like I've don't worry about that, mate. I had that idea planned in already, especially because the Dominator's actually pretty good. And he's on my booking committee as well. I forgot to mention that. The Dominator's on the booking team because he's got decent booking skill. So that's allowing us to occasionally get an angle or a creative finish, which is good. We booked one for this past show, the one that we're doing now, and it was a gamble, so I rejected it. But anyway, they win. And after the match, the UK Undertaker and the Dominator celebrate another win together, and Dominator grabs the mic and says, "Look, this team clearly kicks a whole lot of ass. I mean, these are two big guys, two big son of a bitches, and they could run roughshod over this place. But we can't continue with this cosplaying nonsense, this man dressed up like another wrestler." UK Undertaker, he's not amused by this, but obviously doesn't speak very much because he's the Undertaker and it's 1997. So we're not copying the Ministry of Darkness. Well, actually, I wasn't even at that in 1997, were we? He was still transitioning from spooky Deadman to kind of serious Deadman, I think, at that point. And Kane was getting involved, so, you know, we could have made Dominator Kane, UK Kane. Don't let me put these ideas into my head. Nobody wants this, okay? Nobody wants UK Kane. Just warning you all now. But it looks like maybe the words were finally starting to get to UK Undertaker, though, as he looks a bit confused. So, you know, we're maybe sowing the seeds that potentially, sooner rather than later, the Gravedigger will appear. Maybe. Maybe not. But in our main event, it's some serious wrestling time. It's a good match, a 33 overall. I think that might be our best match. I would need to look. But Doug Williams does defeat Roughneck to retain the Scottish National Championship with a Chaos Fury following a botched interference from Conscience. So Conscience lost the pinfall in the Fatal 4-Way last month, and he's messed up again. He's cost Roughneck the title again, this time directly, as in, you know, hit Roughneck by accident. Good match though, 33, Doug with a really good 45, Roughneck with a 30, which is absolutely fine. Gets us a 31 overall, and I think we'll give it some praise. And you know what? We're gonna give these lads some praise. Good show. Lost another grand, which is fine, but we have gone up to 8 popularity, which is the only thing that matters. I say it after every single show, but genuinely at this point, the only thing that matters is that we continue to gain popularity. The money will solve itself, so there's nothing to worry about on the money front. That we'll deal with it, unless we start getting notices from the bank. Then shit hits the fan a little bit. But we are going to be fine. We're just getting through this stupid, long processing time. I know I could skip this, but by the time I move my mouse over to the other screen to hit pause, it's basically done at that point. So we'll just talk through it. And that's it. There you go. Jodie Hamilton has passed away. That's some sad news to come back to. But yeah, decent little show. The belt was prestigious till 30. Is that our best match? Let's have a look. It's our tied best show, which is good. I know, I forgot that Hoovie and Doug got a 34, but it's our second best match ever, which is really good. Really good. Doug Williams, by the way, MVP of the company so far, it has to be said. Even got UK Undertaker to a 33. Forgot about that. Yeah, Doug. What a man, as my voice is deciding to start disappearing on me. UK Undertaker, up to 9 popularity. I did see, there was a few people who said about potentially doing, it was like a split personality sort of thing, which I actually really like the idea of. I wish I'd seen that before I started planning episode 2. And I might explore the dual personality thing. So, like, it comes back and maybe, I don't know, he turns into the Gravedigger, but when he's pushed too far, he becomes the UK Undertaker, or I don't know. I have a plan for the December show. I'm just going to spoil it now. There's a December show angle where hopefully that progression will become clear, but you guys just have to wait and see. I mean, I like what I'm doing. I just really like a lot of what you guys have suggested, which is the problem. But anyway, I'll be back in just a moment for you guys. It'll be God knows how long for me, and we shall do the show for November. So I've come back a little bit early. I mean, it's show day, but just before the show has been booked. So there's just a couple things to quickly run through. We have Michael Kovac. His contract expiring in a month. We're probably going to let that expire. I mean, he's okay. I don't know. We'll see. I'll think about it. I've got about 3 weeks to make that decision. Similarly, we have a few more contracts coming up as well. I'd like to be at 10 popularity by the end of this episode, the end of the year, and then potentially move on from some of these guys as like our first year crew. But we'll see what happens. One of the other things is we've had a new company open up called FCWNL, who have signed the Dominator and someone else. I forgot who they signed. Is it Kovac? No. Conscience. That's who it was to sign. So they're based in Western Europe. Hopefully they don't become an issue on that front. I mean, they've got a lot of money, so hopefully they don't like move all their guys over to Western Europe. That would be ideal, but we'll see what happens. We'll roll off the punches. I'm going to go book tonight's show and back in just a moment. So it is a little bit of a smaller scale show today, and once again we've only managed to attract 68 people into the building, which is very annoying, it has to be said, but I've given quite a few of the big hitters the night off, just to get some of these other guys used on the card, see what they can do as well. So there's no Doug tonight, there's no UK Taker, there's no Dominator, there's no Hoovy being the big main ones. So, but we're doing a little build-up show towards December. But in the opener, James Mason gets a win. We talked about needing to give him some wins. And he defeats Crazy Sexy Mike in 9.5 minutes with the dropkick. James Mason with a 30, Mike with a 24, and they don't click. So, to get a 23 I don't think is too bad considering they didn't click at all. We then have Pierre Fontaine. We said we were going to give him probably a title match. That's most likely the plan. Pierre Fontaine says that after he wins tonight, he wants a shot at Doug Williams. He says he's more than earned it, and he says Doug is a true champion and will accept. Very simple, 27 overall, and his match gets a very poor 21. But he does defeat Johnny Storm with a moonsault. Both guys get a 25. Pierre was off his game. I think that's decision made. Pierre Fontaine will be facing Doug Williams next month at our final show of the year for the title, and then I think we will be letting Pierre Fontaine go. I don't think he's offering anything that really makes me want to keep him around. He's just not very good, unfortunately. We then have the build to our main event. Roughneck brings Conscience down to the ring and says that he's had enough. Conscience was supposed to be his insurance policy, and instead he's just an absolute liability and a joke. Conscience eventually snaps because he's just getting berated. He's been getting berated for months now at this point. He snaps, he hits Roughneck, a brawl ensues, a referee runs down. We have our main event. It gets a 29, and the match gets a very poor 24. But Roughneck does defeat Conscience after using a foreign object, like a chair or a chain. Maybe a chain. I feel like Roughneck would use a chain. You know, wrap it up around his fist and launch his fist into somebody's face. Yeah, Roughneck with his chain, that's what it is. Gets the win over Conscience. gets a 24. The show gets a 24. It's one of our weaker shows that we've ever done. But we'll live. It'll be fine. We'll give James Mason some praise and... John... Mike, I guess. I don't know who to give praise to. But those guys will have it. 685 loss, so that's not bad. We basically lost the same amount of money as we've lost for the last 3 months, which is 570 odd. So hopefully, we've gone up to 9. That's the most important thing. As I say every episode, that's the most important thing. Hopefully, that show, because we've used less of our big names, we've not had to pay the travel either for UK Undertaker and for the Dominator. So we've saved about 300 quid on that show. And I do think that will hopefully mean our losses are minimal for November. I'm hoping it's going to be around 100 or 200 loss, if that, because we've gained the popularity points. We'll have more sponsor money, we'll have more merch money, and we've spent 300 less. So hopefully we'll be 100, 200 over this month, and that'll be very good. Very good indeed. I mean, yeah, like we lost 576, 5785. We're just stuck in this loop of the 500s at the moment. But we're at 435 already, and we're only going to gain money here. We'll gain another nearly 200 on sponsor and probably another 10, 15 on merch. So yeah, this should be a decent month. I'm hoping that means December we will then be in a really good position for 1998 to start gaining some money. That would be the dream, but we're at size 9. Northern England and Ireland hopefully will move up to 2 when we move up to 10, which will hopefully be our next show. Now, some things. One thing I haven't mentioned, I'm going to just do it now. I'm going to loosely enforce the face and heel divide. Because at the moment, with the roster that we've got, I'm not really caring about the face and heel vibe of the shows. I'm just booking what I want to book around it. So we're going to leave face and heel as loosely enforced for the time being. And then once we have a better roster and better, maybe like more shows or a TV show of some kind, then I'll probably start to reintroduce the faces and heels. But Conscience, we have a decision to make. He's out of contract. Well, he's on an ongoing deal. He's very average, and he's got no popularity. He's gained up to 4. He's not really gaining anything. I don't know if we want to keep Conscience around long term. He was basically here to be Roughneck's muscle. Roughneck has, disposed of him now. They're no longer needed to be a team together. So I wonder if we let Conscience potentially go. I said we're going to let Pierre Fontaine go. We have built his popularity up. I mean, from 3 to 16. But he just isn't really pulling in the ratings. Even though he's got decent stats. But I don't know. I might give him another 3 months. I'll see. Same with Kovac. Kovac, I think we're just going to let go at this point. I need to make these decisions by the next show. So that's why I'm going through these now. James Mason, I think we will keep James Mason a little longer. Doug obviously is fine. We've got him under contract for a long time. Same with Jody. Same with Huve, Johnny, Mike. I think we'll keep Mike around. I like Mike. I don't use him enough, but I think he's pretty good. So we'll keep Mike around. I'm going to go sort that out now, and I will hit advance, and then that will just take 10 years. And I will be back as soon as I can, for you guys in literally seconds, to do the final show of 1997. I can show you the pre-booking for this one because I'm not hiding anything at this point. We have Doug accepting the challenge, Juventud challenges Michael Kovac, and Doug Williams takes on Pierre Fontaine. I seem to be missing a segment here. I need to put another match in, so that's my bad. Unless I had someone who's left in that match. But I need to book another match. And there's a segment here called No More UK Undertaker, question mark. So the tension is building. See you guys in a second. So just before we go into the final show of the year, as expected, the finances are looking a hell of a lot better now. $251 lost. Obviously, we are using some of the bigger names on this show, including some travel. So that will, of course, impact the bottom line a little bit, but we are slowly starting to turn that corner. Doing the merchandise early means that at least you can just get that out of the way and you can make that money quicker. But it's live in Edinburgh tonight. It's the final show of the year. Then the plan is, after I finish recording this show, I will sim until the 1st of January, and then we will just go through the year, go through all the other companies and wrap up the first year of the save. So I'll be back in just a moment with the final live in Edinburgh of 1997. And it's time for the final show of the year. 69 nice people have arrived, so one more person has rocked up on the 19th of December here in Edinburgh. And yeah, final show of the year, big things happening on this month's show. But first, Doug Williams opens the show by accepting Pierre Fontaine's challenge from last month and says he'll show everyone why he's the Scottish national champion. Solid enough, 30 overall. Not really anything more to that. We then have Juventud Guerrera. He's not been around for a couple of months, as he struggled to get over what happened in the big Fatal 4-Way. But next month, to kick off the year 1998, he wants a shot at the winner of tonight's match, and he will win his upcoming match to prove he deserves it. However, for 38, the best promo guy in the company is Juventud Guerrera. Obviously. Clearly. I mean, we all expected that to be the case. The match isn't very good. He does get a win though over Michael Kovac, who I don't think has yet won a match in this company. And yeah, 28 overall. Juve with a good performance, Kovac with not a good performance. So Juve definitely, I think by the time we do the end of year awards, I reckon that Juve will be our wrestler of the year. He's definitely going to win either that or Young, surely. It's him or Doug Williams. Up next, the Dominator is in action, singles action this week, and he gets a win over Jody Fleisch with the pile driver. Gets a 27 overall. It's good performance by Dominator with a 36. Jody Fleisch with a 24 is less good, but the Dominator's actually pretty good. Yeah, I feel kind of bad that he's going to get stuck in a tag team, because next up, here we go, drum roll please. The Dominator is in the ring after his win, and he says he has a Christmas treat for all the fans in attendance. After a long time and lots of negotiations, he wants to introduce his new tag team partner, the Gravedigger. And you're thinking, who the hell is the Gravedigger? I realise I've spelled it out differently, but whatever. You know, doesn't matter. But yeah, the Gravedigger comes out. It's a similar entrance to The Undertaker. Not quite the same, similar sort of get up, but just enough changes that he's no longer the UK Undertaker. He is instead the Gravedigger, which is definitely just not the Undertaker without the name. Definitely not. But yeah, this is our new tag team going forward, the Dominator and the Gravedigger. Cool guys. Let me know if you prefer Gravedigger as two separate words or as one word. I think I prefer it as two, so I think I'm going to change it. But let me know. Gets a 31 though, pretty good. We're hoping to introduce some tag titles in the next year. Most probably when we get to tiny size we'll introduce tag titles. Unless I see anybody with good chemistry, but we've just not really got the roster to do tag teams at the moment. But these guys can hang out with each other and be cool big guys. And in our main event, which I believe is now actually the best match in company history, Doug Williams defeats Pierre Fontaine with the Chaos Fury to make defence number 2 of the Scottish National Championship. He gets a 47 in ring. Pierre with a 30. We did give Pierre a 3-month extension. I decided to give him the 3 months. And he's repaid me here. That's a good performance by Pierre Fontaine. A really good performance. The show gets a 34, which I think is also our best ever show. So that's good. I'll look at that in a moment. But yeah, I can't complain too much. And you know what? Pierre Fontaine, mate, great performance. And then we'll just give Juve, because Juve was excellent as well. those. We've lost 900, which is fine. That's what we expected. And we have gone up to 10. We've ended the year on 10 popularity points. So we've had 2 months where we haven't gained, but we've gained 10 overall. That's a really good position for us to be in, because now it means if we can have 7 months in a row of gaining a point, by July we will be tiny size. Worst case, I think it will be August or September at the absolute latest that we will hit tiny. So that's not too bad. So realistically, that would mean in 2 episodes time I should be hitting tiny size, which is really good, because I'm going to try and stick to the 3 or 4 shows per episode until the schedule changes, really. That might be when we get a TV deal, that could be when we start running pay-per-views. We might go to a weekly show, depending on how we're getting on. But that's a good show overall. The feedback has been very positive. And if we have a look, we're just going to change this now because it's annoying me. And I don't like it. Nope. There we go. The Gravedigger. He's still called UK Undertaker, and we need to change it. Did we change his gimmick? Or you know what? Screw it. I'm leaving his gimmick as it is Deadman Ripoff, because he still is a Deadman Ripoff. Gravedigger doing real business here, by the way. He's at 20. He's one of our most over guys. Pierre up to 17, even in defeat. Hoovy up to 16. So we've got a good little roster here. We have a good little roster at Castle Pro. We should gain another 300 or so sponsorship, which means that money is going to become... It's going to be probably a similar 250 range, 300 maybe. I can't really complain about any of that. I am going to leave you for a second. I'm going to go skip ahead to the end of the year, and we'll be back to talk about the year of 1997. And welcome to 1998. I'm sure nothing major happened in wrestling that year. So, we're just going to quickly run through the state of the world, really, at this point, and then we'll wrap up the episode. So, our male wrestler of the year was El Hijo del Santo. Female wrestler of the year was Lola Gonzalez. I have to admit I don't know who that is. Company of the year was New Japan Pro Wrestling. The male tag team of the year was Akira Taue and Jumbo Saruta. The female tag team of the year was Diabolica and Vicky, which is La Diabolica and Vicky Carranza. The match of the year, Kurt Hennig beating Bret Hart at Super Brawl 7 in February, so it's been a while since that match happened. The show of the year was one of the G1 shows. The male young wrestler of the year was Yutaka Yoshie. Wow, okay. Before he got big. He died a couple years ago, didn't he? Or like a year ago. He was really fun. He wore the big pink get up and everything. He had a really cool G1. I think it was 2004 or 2005. Good stuff. I love Yutaka Yoshie. Female wrestler of the year, or young female wrestler of the year, Tomoko Kazumi, don't know who that is. Male veteran, the big man, the main man, one of the greatest of all time, Kenichiro Tenryu. Female veteran, Susan Sexton. Yep. Most improved is Now. Okay. Male independent wrestler of the year was El Egipcio? I have no idea. Female independent wrestler of the year was Numachi. Yep. Male manager of the year, Magnum TA. Female manager of the year was Fantasia. Male play-by-play commentator of the year was Jim Ross. Female play-by-play commentator of the year was Bonnie Blackstone. That's Bonnie Blackstone. That's not a great name. Male colour commentator of the year is Paul Heyman. Female colour commentator of the year is Missy Hyatt. The referee is Mike Kyoda, and female referee is Shigeyo Kawasaki. If we have a look at the Power 500, the male wrestler of El Hijo del Santo, I'm not going to go through every name here, I'm going to just click through. So you got Tenryu, Bret Hart, there's Tenryu again, it's gone quite slow. Felino, Dustin Rhodes, I can't remember this. Felino, Dustin Rhodes, anybody interesting? Conan number 39, seems a bit high, but yeah, there you go. I'll quickly scroll down if anybody wants to have a look at this. This is the speed of my game sometimes, by the way, people, just so we're all clear here. Nobody yet really standing out is surprising. 87 is someone just called Winners. There you go, there's the top 100. Who the hell is Winners? That guy. Okay. Anyway, more importantly, what happened in Castle Pro this year? Our end of year awards, much more interesting. The Wrestler of the Year, Doug Williams, our Scottish national champion. It was going to be him or Juventud Guerrera, let's be real here, so Doug takes the win. Young Wrestler of the Year is Juventud Guerrera. That one isn't a surprise. I figured he would win one or the other. Match of the Year is Doug Williams defeating Pierre Fontaine, of all people, at the last show in December. So well done, Pierre Fontaine. You've earned that 3-month extension. And the Card of the Year was whatever one that was. And our Referee of the Year, Martin Warren, because he's our only referee. But it's been a good year. The title has gained a prestige point. So that's good. Solid year for the title. I mean, the worst match was a 23, and that's because Ultimo Shingon was in it. Everything else was 28 or over 30, so good stuff. And I think the roster's in a little good position. We've got Colin Mackay, who is kind of getting better as a road agent. We've got Conscience, who is also kind of getting better as a road agent. We have Crazy Sexy Mike. We have our champion, Doug Williams, James Mason, Jody Fleisch, Johnny Storm, Juventud Guerrera, our referee, Martin Warren, Michael Kovac, Pierre Fontaine, Roughneck, our former champion, The Dominator, and the people's favourite, the UK Undertaker, now known as the Gravedigger. Yeah, these guys, I like these guys as a team. Any names for them, drop them in the comments, and I will definitely look at renaming them as an actual tag team going forward. I'm actually going to add them now, before we forget here, if the game will actually let me do it. So, the Dominator and the Gravedigger, I'm just going to auto-name them for now, or the Dominator and the Gravedig, as they're currently known. Gravedig. But, aye, that's going to do it for today's episode. If I have a look at the hidden gems, is there anybody interesting? A very young 14-year-old Rampage Brown. I don't think we're signing children to be in this company as of yet. Johnny Moss is available. Very young. Not quite where we want him to be as of yet, but maybe worth keeping on the shortlist. Anybody else? I mean, how's Rampage skills looking? He's very good for 14-year-old. But he's 14. Dean Champion, not good at all. Not good at all. Anybody else here I don't recognise? Everybody else I've seen before. How is Tim Wiley getting on? Is he getting better? No, not really. Has he even had any matches? He's had 2. Oh, and they both stunk as well. Okay. Oh, hang on, where was that match from? Based in... Independent Wrestling from Edinburgh. Who was on that show? Pain Game. Defeated the Liverpool lads. Robbie Brookside. Wants 700 per show, which is annoying because Robbie Brookside is brilliant here, but it is what it is. That's going to wrap it up for today's episode. As I said, I'm recording this a week in advance, so apologies if I have not got back to some of your any comments for the videos yet. But I will see you guys next week for episode 5, I think, of this save. And we will start 1998. I have nothing planned currently other than, of course, the dominance of the Gravedigger and the Dominator. Doug Williams will defend the title against Juventud Guerrera at some point in this next episode, and maybe we'll actually sign some new guys eventually. But that's going to do it for all. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.